Coming up on AgweekTV, a major blow to ag innovation in the Northern Valley. A graphic reminder about safety in farm equipment around power lines. The hemp harvest is wrapping up in South Dakota. And we'll take you to a new U-Pick Vineyard that will soon add a winery. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. A major ag project in northwest Minnesota has shut down after just a year. A ribbon cutting was held last September at the Ag Innovation campus in Crookston. It operated as a small-scale crush plant designed to experiment with new products from soybeans and other crops grown in the state. The project had received millions of dollars in investment from the state and private investors, and still has an outstanding loan from Ag Country Farm Credit Services. The AIC board hopes to sell the facility. Operating large equipment around power lines can be dangerous. Ariana Schumacher shares one farmer's close call with a high-voltage power line in this week's Ag Week cover story.
I thought I was dead. I really did.
September 12th was the first day of corn chopping season at the Lucky 7 Dairy in McBain, Michigan, and it easily could have been the last for farm owner J.P. Cope. After a safety meeting and a prayer, the crew was out to open the cornfields. At about 1 p.m., an employee alerted Cope that he was getting the chopper too close to a high-voltage power line. Unfortunately, the warning was too late.
As soon as he said that, as quick as I could turn around, I hit the line.
The chute welded itself to the power line. The wheels were on fire, and the head of the chopper was sparking aggressively.
It went through my mind, I'm either going to die on the chopper or probably die on the ground.
He decided to jump from the handrail, which was about 10 feet off of the ground.
I jumped and hit the ground, and there was I could feel power going through my hands and my knees and my feet, and I couldn't really stand up, so I crawled away until I got out of that ripple effect of the power. And I was able to stand up, and then once I did, I was able to kind of half stumble and run away because I didn't want the power lines to fall on me.
In around 15 minutes, the chopper was destroyed. Miraculously, Cope survived with no burns or major injuries. Unfortunately, power line accidents are not uncommon.
We generally have farmers that get tangled up in the overhead lines, maybe knock a pole over, or at times, even with our underground equipment, we've got green boxes that sit along the edge of the fields, and they'll get too close to them. They may run them over or just slide it off the pad.
There are many things that both equipment operators and employees need to remember about electrical safety before entering the field.
The power lines are the ones that we drive by them every day, and we just get accustomed to them being there, and we forget about them. And I think it's a real hazard that we need to remind the people that are going in and out of the fields of.
While Coop is shaken up from the incident, he is now back in the chopper seat.
I had to get back in.
In Brandon, South Dakota, this is Ariana Schumacher for Ag Week.
You can read more in the next Ag Week magazine or at agweek.com. Farming is a very stressful business, especially with so many factors that are out of a grower's control, like weather and prices. Suicide rates tend to be higher among farmers than other groups, but the coordinator of NDSU's Farm and Ranch Stress Program says there are many things farmers can and should do to relieve stress. Adriana Drusini had a booth at the Big Iron Farm Show earlier this month with many easy, low-cost suggestions, things like exercise, hobbies, sleep, and talking to someone who will just listen without judging.
We live in a world that is so fast-paced that sometimes we forget there are other people that are out there to help us, that if we just find that person to talk to about our problems, that's going to be helpful.
Drusini says extension offices across the state have a number of resources available to help farmers. There is also a national 988 hotline you can call, text, or chat to be directed to resources. Porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome cost the U.S. pork industry about $1.2 billion a year in lost production from 2016 to 2020. That's the finding of a recent study out of Iowa State University. The virus's ability to mutate is a factor into why PRRS is increasing.
We think we got something figured out, for example, how to eliminate it from a herd, and that works for a while, and then all of a sudden we get some different isolates of the virus, that start circulating and make it more difficult all of a sudden to do that. And so we see that time and time again where we think we have solutions, and then the virus seems to have what I describe as a sort of evolutionary intelligence. It finds a way around our best efforts.
Holtkamp says that biosecurity is the answer. He has been working on the standardized outbreak investigation that provides producers with information about their swine herds to know where to focus their biosecurity efforts. Up next on AgweekTV, our dry bean tour continues with a check on kidney beans.
Our Peterson Farm seed reps, real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm seed reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
Introducing the all-new Vatterstadt Tempo K24, designed and built in the U.S. It combines capacity with superior precision, even at very high speeds. With PowerShoot technology that uses positive air pressure to take full control of the seed from the meter all the way down to the soil, using no belts, motors, or brushes. Start your journey to outstanding emergence. Pre-order your Tempo K today.
Do you have salty fields? Try Calcine.
We've been putting it on some of our worst spots, and every year you see more bushels, greener crop, healthier crop. Some land down by the river that almost had to take out of production. We've been able to use Calcine and bring it back to equal to the rest of the fields. Calcine mixes with basically anything. We put it down with our starter fertilizer. We've mixed it with herbicides. We've applied it broadcast. We've applied it banded. So it's worked in pretty much any capacity, and there's no volatility issues. So it's a very easy to use product.
Let's talk. Visit us at EricksonCustomOperations.com.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Hi, Bill Kelsey here, Geringhoff Territory Manager, covering northern Minnesota and the Dakotas. At Geringhoff, we offer a full line of the best harvest headers and residue management systems on the market. Contact me today to discuss your farm's needs. From there, I'll connect you with an authorized Geringhoff dealer.
The Ag Week Dry Bean Tour is brought to you by the North Harvest Bean Growers Association.
Our dry bean tour this week takes us to northwest Minnesota, where they're harvesting kidney beans. Johanning Farms near Park Rapids grows dark red, light red, and white kidney beans. They have irrigated sandy soil, so Paul Johanning says they normally don't have a problem being too wet. But this spring did not get off to a good start.
Too wet, too cold, for too long. So we lost a lot of our nitrogen that we first early applied. And then it's just been kind of a struggle with some of our headlands and stuff, drowned outs and stuff that we normally don't deal with.
Johanning says he and other growers are seeing smaller plant structures because of the cooler weather. But he says the main parts of the field have been in good shape and helping bring up yields, so they should have an average crop. In the same area of Minnesota, dry edible bean buyers from around the world came to get a look at the crop. 29 buyers from 12 countries toured fields and processing plants in North Dakota and Minnesota. It's important for buyers to get a look at the crop, but also to develop relationships, despite language barriers and thousands of miles of distances. Dennis Quesoa came from Italy. He's interested in buying the highest quality beans for his business that provides beans for canning across Europe.
It's very interesting to know each other, to know the farmers, to know everybody which are working inside this business.
The U.S. Dry Bean Council hosts a reverse trade mission each year in different parts of the country. The hemp harvest is wrapping up in South Dakota. But as Kennedy Tesh reports, there were some late season challenges.
Once she gets pollinated, she starts putting on seeds on all of these.
John Peterson grows hemp along with corn and soybeans on his farm in the southeastern corner of South Dakota. This year, he planted 450 acres of hemp.
We planted about half of our varieties are this tall fiber-only variety or stalk variety, and then the other half was grown for seed that will combine and then harvest the stalks afterward.
Peterson got a bit of a late start to planting because of the wet spring, so harvest is a little later than usual this fall. But Peterson says, despite that, the crop looks pretty good.
That hemp does not like wet feet. We found that this year. Wet soil conditions, hemp really didn't react well to that, but everywhere else where it managed to grow, it grew well this year, and yeah, a lot of guys are pretty happy with their yield so far.
Hemp stalks can grow up to 15 feet. Peterson says a regular combine with a bean header can be used to harvest the grain. He uses a multiple level sickle bar cutter to harvest the stalks. Peterson also owns Dakota Hemp, a new processing facility that's just starting to run this fall. He has about a half a dozen farmers around the state growing for him. The hemp stalks will be processed into various retail products, including textiles, paper, and animal bedding.
Be able to pull that away without hardly any resistance. Then you'll also be able to take this fiber and kind of go around like that, and it should separate itself.
The grain is crushed into oil that can be used in foods and cosmetics. Peterson says with his plant going online, there are now 2 plants in the state that can process up to 4,000 acres a year. Peterson says he'd love to see more plants in the state and more hemp production. In Wakanda, South Dakota, this is Kennedy Tesh for Ag.
For more information on growing hemp, contact the South Dakota Industrial Hemp Association. Ahead on AgweekTV, the aerial application industry is aging. We'll see what's being done to keep it flying high.
Storage Pros and MnDAC Containers are your premier suppliers of shipping containers, servicing all of North Dakota and Minnesota. From 10 to 53 feet, new and used units, we have your storage solution. Pick up your unit or have it delivered. Call Mike or Jake today.
We offer the full lineup of brand products. Big ones are going to be your conveyors, your land rollers, grain carts, high-speed discs. Those are going to be the very popular ones that we see out in the countryside and we like to have on hand here at all times.
Brand does a really good job of supporting the products and providing the parts on time and when you need them. For a full line of brand products, give us a call at 701-361-4790 or visit our website at northstar-ag.com.
People's Company and Steve Dalen Farmland Sales eXp Realty are excited to auction more than 600 beautiful acres of Clay County, Minnesota farmland. The land will be sold as 4 tracts, each featuring loamy soil and high productivity, excellent for growing small grains, corn, soybeans, and sugar beets. The auction will take place at 10 a.m. Wednesday, October 23rd at the Courtyard by Marriott in Moorhead. For more information or to register and bid online, visit peoplescompany.com. That's peoplescompany.com.
Farm smarter with a new 360 Rain autonomous irrigation system from Agro Valley Solutions. 360 Rain delivers precise bands of water and nutrients directly to the base of your crops. Less water, less electricity, more profit per acre. Whether you're using drain tile water, applying liquid manure, or replacing an outdated pivot, 360 Rain covers every inch of your field with ease. Discover the future of irrigation at agrovalley.net. 360 Rain, water where it matters.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary Wind Systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Crary offers 2 solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Crary Air Reel or Crary Wind System today.
You got salty soils? We can help. Let's talk. Ag Week weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
Is fall weather finally upon us? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
The general weather outlook for the next couple of weeks, which, by the way, is almost entirely contained within the month of October, well, it is going to bring slightly cooler weather, as it will do as the sun gets lower and lower in the sky. We do get some cooler weather. It's just not going to be as consistently warm, but still looks mostly above average. I do anticipate an early to mid-October month pattern shift to bring down much colder weather into Canada, but I'm not confident that that's going to penetrate much below the U.S. border. So most of the northern plains, upper Midwest will likely remain, by and large, maybe not entirely, but by and large, warmer than average and pretty dry as we go on in through the mid-month of October. Going to be great for getting rid of the corn out of the fields and getting the harvest going. This is the remnants of Hurricane Helene. Upper level swirl down in the southeast will gradually be absorbed by an approaching low pressure trough this week. And as that does happen, we are going to see this week a little bit of a dip in the jet stream across the northern plains that will bring it into the 80s and 90 degree temperatures in North Dakota and northern Minnesota, but it's not going to send the cold weather down too far. I do expect we'll start seeing some freezing temperatures showing up over much of northwest Canada. That's freezing weather during the daytime, and cool weather will drop south as well. And this big mess of a conglomerated, broken, split jet stream over the eastern Maritimes of Canada is likely to bottle up the pattern and keep us from any dramatic pattern shifts. That being said, as we approach the first full weekend of October 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, right in that time period, we're going to start to see a southwesterly flow setting up in the northern plains, which could eventually lead to some precipitation. But as I see this through for the time being, through about almost the middle of the month of October, probably not a great deal of precipitation. We are going to see, as I mentioned, much of Canada a little bit cooler than average, whereas most of the United States is likely to be generally warmer than average as we go through the next couple of weeks. And this pattern may hold for a while, probably means, at least as we start the winter, the northern plains, the Great Lakes will have a little better chance of getting any colder than average weather. Most of the stuff further south will likely remain relatively mild. Now, what about precipitation? As I said, primarily dry. There will probably be at least a chance of some showers from the northern plains up and toward Hudson Bay. Tropical activity will keep the southeastern states wet, and the eastern seaboard will continue to be rainier than average. Most of the Great Plains, pretty much dry weather down into the upper Midwest, and western Canada will start getting snow-covered. Most of the region, though, looking pretty dry.
Storage Pros and MnDAC Containers are your premier suppliers of shipping containers, servicing all of North Dakota and Minnesota. From 10 to 53 feet, new and used units, we have your storage solution. Pick up your unit or have it delivered. Call Mike or Jake today.
Whether you are a farmer moving a single piece, a contractor updating your fleet, or a large dealer needing to liquidate assets, Dagger Machinery will come to you and handle every step of the process.
Hi, Bill Kelsey here, Geringhoff Territory Manager, covering northern Minnesota and the Dakotas. At Geringhoff, we offer a full line of the best harvest headers and residue management systems on the market.
Contact me today to discuss your farm's needs. From there, I'll connect you with an authorized Geringhoff dealer.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Farm smarter with a new 360 Rain autonomous irrigation system from AgweekTV Solutions. 360 Rain delivers precise bands of water and nutrients directly to the base of your crops. Less water, less electricity, more profit per acre. Whether you're using drain tile water, applying liquid manure, or replacing an outdated pivot, 360 Rain covers every inch of your field with ease. Discover the future of irrigation at agrovalley.net. 360 Rain, water where it matters.
You got salty soils? We can help. Let's talk.
The aerial application industry is being described as a maturing market, but an important one when it comes to precision agriculture. I traveled to Boone, Iowa to learn more.
There's a good need for more pilots. We're always trying to start new guys. The old guys are moving out.
Doug Prawley is an aerial applicator and farmer in northwest Iowa. Though flying is an important part of aerial application, there is one skill that's even more important.
Our industry is not just about flying, it's more about application. So the flying is almost secondary to the skills you need to be a good applicator to provide the good service for the farmer. And a lot of precision goes into what we do as well. We call it a kind of a maturing market.
Chris Lockhart works with Air Tractor, an ag aircraft company in West Texas. Since the business started in 1974, they have produced over 4,000 air tractors. But according to Lockhart, the pilots are not the only thing aging in the aerial application industry.
And what we're seeing in the U.S. now is just replacement and attrition to replace models, an aging fleet. So it's kind of a roller coaster in the U.S., but the export market is growing.
Air Tractor currently exports 70% of their products, while keeping just 30% here in the U.S. Though the aerial application fleet is aging in the U.S., the high-tech additions to planes, like state-of-the-art GPS systems and booms, are not.
These guys do a great job of setting up their planes. We offer a solution when conditions change that they can't help.
Jeff Haymeyer works for Capstan Ag. Their Swath Pro system has been a great addition to many aerial applicators' planes.
So we were able to put our solenoids and our valves every 4 inches on an extruded aluminum boom that the pilots can preset profiles on, and then they can change that on the fly. So based off speed changes and pushing buttons, they can virtually change tips as they're flying and narrow their boom. They can have right and left shutoffs to do not only a better job, but to be safe doing it.
Prawley is also a part of the Iowa Ag Aviation Association. Minnesota may become the global hub for sustainable aviation fuel, known as SAF, and that's good news for farmers. That fuel can be made from a number of ag products, including corn, soybeans, stover, and other regenerative crops. Millions of gallons of sustainable fuel is expected to be blended at a new facility in Rosemount by late 2025. The news was announced at the North American SAF Conference in St. Paul. The Minnesota SAF Hub's goal is to have SAF fuel flowing to the Minneapolis airport in the next 3 years.
What we're doing now is about creating new markets that will create new stable income sources for Minnesota producers for hopefully a whole new generation.
Delta Airlines has committed to buying millions of gallons of SAF fuel from the plant, and the airline says the goal is to scale it up around the country. Up next on AgweekTV, a budding Vineyard invites grape lovers out to help with harvest.
Our Peterson Farm seed reps, real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm seed reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. service techs. Come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
We offer the full lineup of brand products. Big ones are going to be your conveyors, your land rollers, grain carts, high-speed discs. Those are going to be the very popular ones that we see out in the countryside and we like to have on hand here at all times.
Brand does a really good job of supporting the products and providing the parts on time and when you need them. For a full line of brand products, give us a call at 701-361-4790 or visit our website at northstar-ag.com.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Whether you are a farmer moving a single piece, a contractor updating your fleet, or a large dealer needing to liquidate assets, Dagger Machinery will come to you and handle every step of the process.
Wine and grape lovers came out to help a new vineyard with its first grape harvest. We visit a U-Pick vineyard in southeast Minnesota.
We noticed that people were always happy when they were at wineries, and we said this is something we want to do.
Jill and Kevin Bear like wineries so much they decided to open their own. They started by planting a vineyard 3 years ago, and this is their first harvest season. But since the winery isn't ready yet, Fremont Vineyard in Utica, Minnesota invited winemakers and other grape lovers to come out and help them pick.
So we decided, why not provide a service that we're not seeing out there as much, and to try the U-Pick vineyard, have people, home winemakers, jelly, juice, whatever it might be, come out and experience the whole farm-to-table experience for themselves.
Kevin Bear was raised on this farm, so they're happy to be back. The vines aren't yet fully productive, but Jill estimates they grew about 6,000 pounds of grapes this year. They have several varieties in the middle of this crop farm that were developed by the University of Minnesota, including Frontenac Gris, Marquette, and Itasca. Jill says the U-Pick experience was a success, and they're excited to take the next step of opening a winery.
We have made some awful batches of wine at home, and we are getting better as time goes on.
Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. A Delta Airlines flight marked the first commercial flight in North America using camelina feedstock sustainable aviation fuel. And first responders are getting trained on responding to accidents and involving livestock. We appreciate you watching AgweekTV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.